funny about knot videos is no matter how thorough I think I'm going to be, and there's always a rabbit to chase. And I've had two people in this same day ask me about Super 8s, and I've already done a video on that. But it's when you tie a figure 8 and throw a bite over itself, and you have these two loops, and you can clip to two different bolts, and the rope's not redundant, right? It's going to break in the knot. But if this bolt fails, this will still hold you. It's like pretty much full strength. Spoiler alert. But what happens if you've got these spread out too far, like this? Well, my initial thought on that would be, let's say you had it at 180 degrees and you're going to pull this way. The stretch in the rope is going to immediately take it away from what would essentially be a bad angle where it increases the forces a lot. And it'll start to pull it down like this pretty quickly as the knot settles. And I think it'd be super safe enough. To test the extreme, we're going to pull eye to eye apart because I don't have a way to pull three different directions with this. And we'll just see what the extreme does. If it unrolls, that's always a chance. But when you're using a nylon dynamic rope like I am in this case, typically there's enough friction in the rope where it eventually will just kind of either melt to itself or bind and just break before it does that. Most dynamic ropes I break like this is going to break around 18 kilonewtons. Carabiners are rated for 20 plus. And if you put it in a loop, you're going to get not twice the strength, but you're going to get more than single strand. So you could get, like, let's say if you were getting 18 here, you'd get 28 right there. So just for rope reference, if we're getting something weird, I will test this normal 8 to normal 8 to find out if this is an outlier or something, and we'll maybe pull 2. I've got enough rope for that. So let me show you how to tie it real quick, just so it's all encompassed in this video, and then I'll show you what I got. Okay, so you have a bite of rope, and you can't do this knot without quite a bit of rope, because you're going to tie a figure 8, so that's, you don't want to go in there. You want to come towards this. That's, sorry about that. That is an 8, right? And you don't want to do that. You want to take another bite. So you want to take a bite right here and stick it in that. And then you take this and you flip it over. And now you're going to have 2 bunny ears, as some people call it. You can dress that up. And this strand, the strand that's being shared by both, this side and this side, a lot of people like to have it up here on the top. I've always put it down here underneath. I don't know if it matters. That is something I'll chase later. But today we're just testing the angle of your ears. Now what's cool is, let's say you wanted this ear longer than the other, and this is kind of a short loop. So, but you get the idea. You have, tighten that up, 1 bolt here and 1 bolt there, and they're uneven. You can do that. It's pretty easy to grab this and even it out. So you can just pull and adjust. This is actually the first time I've put the load strand up here, and I absolutely hate it. I feel like I have so much more control if I break it, pull it. But anyways, apparently 18 kilonewtons isn't good enough for people, so we'll do it the way they want. There we go. Cool. Now this is what I'm going to break right here. Let's pull on that. That rolled, and it rolled, and it rolled, and it rolled. Let's pull on this one that I tied for the example and see what we get. Our tail is kind of short. Usually you don't have more than 12 inches of tail. And yeah, let's just pull it apart. It's kind of fun. So these components were in the knot, because it's always going to break in the knot if it's purely just not slipping. But let's break this in a normal 8 to 8. So this is an old climbing gym rope, and this was used for a year. It's a Sterling Revo. Okay, so I threw some 8s in here. They're not perfectly dressed, and I've never had that affect my results. So this rope is well used. It's a year in a gym on a regularly used route. And it's interesting how it performs. When we pull in a loop, we'll typically get 150, 180% of what we would get knot to knot. And this actually acted like more of a loop with just a lot of bends and then a loop. So that's why we got actually more force out of it than if you were to just pull it 8 to 8. Now, if this was a Super 8 up here and you pulled like this, the single strand being pulled through all of that knot is going to break it at the same force as we got 8 to 8. So it's actually stronger? That's not the way you're supposed to pull that knot. It was collapsing. Anyways, we chased the rabbit. I'm going to be putting out an ebook soon where we're keeping track of each knot we've tested and all the different splice tests we've ever done. So it's more like a playlist on steroids. I'll be including that in there when I eventually get to that. Thanks for watching.